Trina, if this really works now.
It says live.
Does it say live? Do you see it?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it goes red sometimes, and sometimes
And
it don't.
sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. So, hey everybody, if we are live. I mean,
Yay!
but
Oh, I see
yeah.
the red now. We are
Okay,
live.
we are
We
live.
are
Well,
live.
welcome everyone. So good to see you. We speak
Everyone.
favor over you. We are of service to you. That's our BOSTO to you. You be BOSTO to someone else. We have our co-pilots here, in which we like to do the hug because it's crazy out there.
Little
You
bad.
know, Trina, we are in essence, kind of like bears, hugging bears, teddy bears. Is that?
Yeah, because we
Yeah,
are like we're like tulpas too. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
We give life to these,
yeah.
Yeah. So happy birthday to everybody if you're having one. So welcome. This is a second look, and you know who my co-pilot is. Sometimes she's the pilot, but I'm
Oh,
usually driving the bus.
I
So,
was gonna say, wait, you are always driving. Oh, wait.
but anyway, hey, what's up? Hey, there's Big Al.
Hi, Al.
Hello, Big Al and Perry. That big, lots of people in here.
Yeah.
David Castle, much love and greetings to you, Wendy, and Red Jesus Radio. I like that. That's a,
Oh, I
that's a
know
cool handle, isn't it?
it is. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. Hey, Robert V is in the house, and
Hi,
Lucky
Robert.
Stone. Gaia, you know what, Gaia? You are on my list. I got your number right here. And when I get off of here, we're going to talk. So anyway, Bernadette Posey, Grandpa Brian, what's up? Elderberry. Um, Trina, what's up, girl? How's your week been?
It's been good. It's been super busy. I've been doing a lot of foot baths, boy, and a lot of healing and different work. But yeah, foot baths, a lot of those this week, a lot.
Sounds cool. Hello, Lost in
Yeah.
Space and Susie Q.
Yeah.
Um,
It's amazing seeing all the junk that comes out of the body with those baths. It's just amazing.
oh,
People are like, that's so gross. I can't believe that's coming out of me. I'm like, I know, it's okay.
that gets into a whole thing,
Crazy.
you mentioned in essence, we are tulpas. I
Yeah,
mean, we are the spirit energy that animates
the body.
this inanimate thing. But the body does have a spirit. It's funny.
Yeah.
I was talking yesterday, about death and the stages of death. And for you to die, there's really like three stages of physical death. You have the one where you're in that coma, you ain't going to wake up, but the body isn't there yet. It's still coalescing in the crystal of the energy. And then, that's when you're clinically dead. And then when you've had about 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours, I think, then that's when you're in the second stage of death. And apparently after that, you ain't coming back.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
um,
I hope so.
I don't know. I don't know. That's why
Yeah,
we
because people
search.
waking up at autopsies and stuff. I'm like freaking out. But what's going on
Oh
with
man.
what's going on? Yeah. So wow.
So the
Yeah.
creepiest video I've ever seen is the one they had down in Brazil, where they, oh man, they buried this woman, and people kept hearing these muffled sounds, and so they finally decided to dig up the coffin, and yeah, she was still alive.
Oh my gosh.
Now that had, now this, I know we're just talking here, but this is kind of fun. That was one of the scariest uh, vignettes I ever saw that Vincent Price did.
Hmm,
Remember Vincent Price?
barely.
Oh, Vincent Price was the guy who did all the horror movies. I
Oh, see,
mean,
I don't watch scary movies. I don't know.
this is back in the, he was very popular in the 60s and 70s. In
Yeah,
fact, the Killer video Michael Jackson did, that is Vincent Price's voice. But
I saw
anyway,
that. Yeah.
Vincent Price did this one vignette. There were three vignettes in this one movie, and it was about his wife that he caught her having a love affair, and so he got her into this coffin and buried her alive. And as a kid, that just, it psychically freaked me out. It was like, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm right with you on that. That is like claustrophobia. Oh, that's no fun. That's just
I
oh
used to do a lot of spelunking I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I lived in Missouri, and we had access to a landowner who had a cave that the University of Missouri had found out about, and we got to go in by myself and the guy I was with. And it was there's a difference between a dead cave and a live cave. A live cave, you can go in and you can find gypsum flowers, for instance, in the cave. That's
Oh,
a sign that the cave is alive. And anyway, we got down into a passageway where we were literally, it was just about that much. What we didn't know was that on top side, there was a summer thunderstorm taking place. And all of a sudden, the water started rising. And that's when I got my first case of severe claustrophobia, because I really
oh,
thought I was going to drown.
I bet I would have freaked out. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah. Panic buttons all hit
I
now.
mean,
Go. Yeah.
uh, but
Yeah.
I learned so much about caves. The interesting thing is that when you turn the light out, you don't have any artificial light. Um, there is, and you can't see anything,
I bet.
but you
Ugh.
can even see your hand in front of your face, but yet there's a sense that there is something there. There's this background light, but
Huh.
anyway, I
Interesting.
digress.
No,
So,
that's
what's been going on down in your area?
oh, nothing. Just everything's so weird with this energy. It's like it is so
Mm-hmm.
powerful right now. It's very, very powerful right now. It's like wow. So, but we're getting out of Pisces and we're moving into Aries. So that should give us a little bit of a break from the so much of the intenseness.
Well, I'm concerned, not to the point that where I'm concerned, but it is something in the cataclysm theory. So Uranus has moved into Taurus, and every time that has happened, it spells catastrophe for Earth. There's usually something very bad. So I don't know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
you know, and people are going, obviously, I think everyone is aware what happened here in Colorado yesterday. And, it's, we live in a time where, wow, it's intense. That's all I can say. It's intense.
It really is. It really is. And yeah, things are gonna get. But like I said, it's so weird because I see that certain people are not going to go through so much, and certain people are. It's weird. It's like I see the shifting of
If
the
you're not
earth.
prepared, you're about to go into what we call gale force winds. The hurricane's coming.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just getting in the outer rings of it, and um there is something going on. And Trina, that's why I thought today, as you and I, when I texted you earlier, that having the discussion of what is evil,
Hmm.
um it's like we're all aware of it, but really, how do you define evil? And we have, as a society and culturally, we have our perceived cognition of what we determine what evil is.
Absolutely. And
But
again, probably
go
got
ahead on.
365 different definitions based on the 365 different views of it's so complex when you do talk about what is evil and how do we define it. So many people see it from a different. They think they have their own definition of evil and what.
They do, and what one may see as evil, another may see as not.
Right. Absolutely. When I really think about what, like, the essence for me, like I said, it's completely opinion. I'm like, essence of evil for me is control.
I could see that.
That's for me, that's what it is, because it's the total opposition of free will. And I think that, that's one of the greatest gifts that we have is free
And
will.
that's where I struggle in my personal theology, philosophy, who I am, is that I 50 years in that indoctrination. I was an
Mhm.
ordained minister, still am.
Right.
As I tell people, I can marry you and I can bury you,
Right.
um, and do it legally. But
Right.
I have like 40 plus years of Bible study and
Right.
knowledge in that, that way. And so that when my core fractured, every time we talk about the fractals here, I mean, holy crap, it would,
Yeah.
and you begin to rebuild. And the interesting thing, when you rebuild, you're rebuilding from fractals.
Yes.
Do you know,
That
does that make sense?
yes. Oh, completely, totally, 100% agree. That's
Yeah.
awesome that you said that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Because
and the thing is, it makes you see from a different dimension all the time. Like, okay,
yes,
yeah,
you do.
it's heavy stuff, man.
It really is. It really is. Like I said, when you really start to get into your own genetics and you start to see parts of you and different parts of yourself, and sometimes I still question, is this me or is this me because it's in my genetic coding? So I still kind of question that often. Um, because how much of it is us and how much of it is just recorded experiences. So, I look at it both ways.
And that, I love to go on that because this is the third strand of our DNA that I believe was taken from us.
Yeah, well, I
And
have 12, and I think once you remove that trinity, it stopped
yeah,
the 12
yeah,
activation. I
yeah.
see that too, Wayne. I do.
And just saying. But so, isn't it odd? Because I think genetically our DNA is perfect.
Yeah,
I really do. And unless something's
yes,
missing in there, I don't know.
that's what it is. It's like it's not missing. It's been firewalled.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah, and I see it through light, artificial light, and this light is strong enough to firewall you. And I see that firewall has been done through the auric system, which are all five energy bodies, and that is directly being function monitored, and it's operating through our chakras. So yeah.
And you take that further. So evil. What in the heck is evil? And some would say, and I would probably agree that what happened here again in the Denver area, we're sadly becoming very hardened to it because here in Denver, some reason there's a spiritual hierarchy here that these events seem to happen over and over. Since I've lived here, I think this is number 4. And and it goes into the theory that different regions have different hierarchies of what they would call of otherworld spirits,
Well, think about it
lords,
too.
overlords,
Well,
etc.
Tesla used to live and practice and experiment there. So that
Well, we actually looked at buying his house.
I know. So I think about it. Think about the signals that were coming out of that area. Do you think that didn't bring forth the attention of the ones above us? Oh, I
The
guarantee you.
basement is what was weird. The realtor told us, they said, well, yeah, the rumors that he was doing experiments and what have you, but the basement was very different. It was heavily shielded. That's all I can say. It was,
Oh, wow. Yes, I bet
yeah,
it was.
yeah, it
Uh-huh.
was. And so, yeah, go figure that. So if we look at evil, then I wrote down there, if what is evil? And it seems, and this is just putting it out there, that if you're going to define evil, there's only one answer for evil: humans.
Well,
Now, you can disagree or agree, but the point is that it's humans who perpetrate the evil.
yeah, I think there's other beings that do evil too, though. Like I think there's draconians that do evil, and I think there's other people that do evil.
Well,
To
those
my,
are all humans.
you're right, Wayne. Wow, when you think about it,
So
you're
let
right.
me further
Wow.
complicate
Wow.
this.
Yeah.
Show me a group of animals in the animal kingdom that are evil, that plan evil, that execute evil. How about the plant kingdom? So if we're going to say that evil exists, it only exists because humans exist.
Could be.
I
Well,
mean,
I think, like I said, I think that there was a capturing
Hello,
of,
Mandy Moo. How are you doing, my
I
dear?
think
Love to get you on sometime with us,
we
Mandy
got
Moo.
mixed in with the with darker races. So I don't think the original like template of man, I don't think that's evil. I don't.
Well, that's an interesting because we can go from there because that means that at some point, and then even in that argument, because it becomes the dog chasing its tail, because if you say, all right, if the template was originally perfected, somehow it became contaminated,
Yeah.
it still rests on the fact that it requires humans to execute evil.
Hmm. Now it's being done through yeah.
Yeah. And it's weird because if the question then becomes, well, let's just say supposedly we could take evil away. Would humanity cease to exist?
Oh, that's a huge probability because of this polarity system. I mean, I don't know how that would find its own balance. I guess eventually maybe it could, and there would just be swings within positive vibration behavior. But yeah, I don't know how that would work out in this realm of duality and polarity. I don't know. Because
I'm
for me,
really loving some of the comments in here. People are
yeah,
really getting onto this. It's
yeah, it
it's
seems to me, Wayne, that we still even have polarity up in the fifth dimension.
mm.
So,
So having said that, what a perfect segue.
yeah.
By the way, I love segues. How many of you ever, Lynn and I, back in the day when, Washington, D.C. was free, we rented segways, the whole time we were there and just tapping around in D.C.
How
and,
fun.
oh man. And I was doing a
Good
lot of business at
time.
the time on the West Coast. So going up to La Jolla, all the way up to Venice, you can rent them and just
Right on.
everybody's gone surf. Anyway,
That's awesome.
I love it. So I'd like to introduce to the audience, Trina, if I may,
Mm.
a thought that all of us are angels. This is from the book, The Archons, the Hidden Rulers of the Ages. This is Interrogato, and I believe it is Ionis, is the Catherine um, tale about the legendary fall of angels into the material world. Satan formed a male and female body out of clay. Then he forced two angels to enter into the bodies. Satan, the dragon, trapped and captured all the angels he could grab out of heaven as they fell. Now, remember, the Bible said that 1/3 of the angels fell out of heaven. So, Trina, you and I talked about this, and I'll just let everyone know. Most people don't know what this number is. I'll tell you what this number is. It's a huge number.
I didn't.
According to the book of Revelation, John, the Revelator, gave the number of 100 trillion angels.
100 trillion? What?
100 freaking trillion
I
angels.
can't fathom that number in my mind. I can't even, that's such a big, 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 big number. Wow.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And if a third fell, that means 33 trillion,
Yep.
333,333,333.3333. You get it?
Wow. Wow. And this is why we have all the 33 symbolism.
Gnostics say that those angels are us. We are the fallen angels. We are trapped. We've been tricked. We were mourning over what was imposed upon us. We had differentiated male and female bodies. Satan commanded us to perform work of flesh and bodies of clay, but we did not know how. It was foreign to us. Satan had to find a way to force us into bodies, and he made us lust for one another, to have babies. So, because only humans, only angels can produce other angels, apparently. I mean, in this weird density, material density, it's not our natural nature to mate. In fact, we are asexual beings. That if people want to know, we are as much female as we are as much male.
Absolutely.
Anyway, he said his scheme included the creation of the paradise, Eden, where he literally dumped lust into our heads physically, and in some cases by sexual assault. We are trapped angels. We are soul splinters of the archonic oversouls spread over different timelines and dimensions.
So makes sense to me. That's like, yeah, that's a strong potential, because that's what I've seen as I was birthed out of sound and light. And when
Yeah.
I was a little girl, I knew I could fly. I mean, I had memories of this existence from different dimensions. And, I talked to the Lord every day like that was normal. So I had a
Mm-hmm.
memory. I was brought in with these higher memories. And when I read those Nag Hammadi scriptures, Wayne, that's when I got that cutting myself out of the serpent dream. And it
Mm-hmm.
freaked me out, because that's what I was looking at. Is this the trap? Is this the cage being brought into this physical material world in these densities? Is this the ultimate trap? And when you don't look back from this, you're free. But like if you look back, I think it's like
Yeah.
Lot's wife. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, if you look back for 1 minute, man, it is game over. You're going right back into the recycling loops. So I see so much potential to this. And when I really did, I mean, I literally like, I was like, I need to know the truth. And that's when I had that dream about cutting myself out of the serpent, which meant the flesh, the system.
So many of us have had the strange thing that the fact that many of us at some point in our lives dreamt that we could fly.
Yeah, it's
I
common.
mean, Jenny tells her story. As a kid growing up on the farm, we had these mulberry trees that grew on the property next to us, and they had the grapevines. They had covered the whole canopy. And as kids, we would literally run on the top of the canopy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
awesome.
it was awesome. We didn't,
Like, that is awesome.
we didn't weigh much more than 60 pounds. I mean, we were just
Right.
all muscle.
Yeah.
We were just kids. But yeah, we
I
throw
think
our,
the angels are just helping you along too, because they do that with kids.
well, wouldn't it be that, see, now this is where it gets really into this, because maybe when you think about it, that we are already what we would call angelic beings,
Yes.
beings of a different dimension, powerful. And this is why they take and suck off our loosh.
I think that's where that's where yeah, that spirit part of us. That's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
not about man. It's about something different. And in the Bible, didn't it say, Wayne, you'd know better than me, that that uh angels were created above men, a little bit above
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and that's why we're more powerful than we should be as a human species. So, but I
Yeah.
think that was the stolen part. Like somehow they captured our light, and now we can create these things, and they want to control this creation,
It's
which,
like Ariel said in the Alien interview, we're coming here to try to rescue you.
yes,
You guys have been captured. You don't know it,
yes,
and this would fall into the time that, well, that would make sense, because we would see ourselves as angels, as angelic beings of what we once were.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm
That would
telling
explain reincarnation. That would explain why this realm
you,
always
yes,
has this cycle.
because our light never dies.
No, no, and that's what
Different
makes us
kind of
unique.
light. That's what the different kind of light. That's the true light in a false light construct. And that's
Oh,
why
that
the
is,
yes, the true
yes,
light
the
within the
true light
false
in a
light
false light.
construct. Yes, and that's why it's not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to get captured like this. So that's it's so interesting you say that, because yes, I have come to set the captives free. This message is ringing in me for 3 days now. Crystal MacArthur said it. It's like it's hitting me. This is why we're here, to set the captives free. And we only do that by understanding that we already have the key to our own freedom. It's just understanding where you're at and what you are.
It's why we fear the darkness, is that because
Yeah.
that's what trapped us.
Yes.
We remember that first time we walked into the darkness, bam.
Yes.
And after that, the fear of the darkness, the fear of what death brings into that darkness, is that because we remember how we got here, just how the hell do we get out?
Yes.
And I believe that those of our kind, I'm becoming convinced we can call them ETs, we can call them off-worlders, but I think they have made many attempts to get us out. And that brings back this whole thing of evil.
You know, Wayne, you're absolutely right that they've tried to get us out before. You know why it couldn't work? Because the law of non-interference. So
Mm,
that's why many of the angelics that were not captured right away, we came down now to be the rescuers, because we could remember more and we'd have access to these higher chakras, and we would be able to connect to the higher light frequencies that give you access to the true light frequencies of your true oversoul, whatever people call that thing that's above the material dimensions. It's in the
hmm.
seventh dimension or above. So that part of you that's 7D or higher, because they blend. So
Yep.
it starts at the seventh dimension, and there's no flesh there. None. There's jelly bodies and energy bodies, and you can change and morph and do whatever you want.
I
But
call it
it's
the
still,
ectoplasm.
yeah, kind of like that. But it's
Yeah.
still not the angelic bodies. Those are even
Mm-mm.
higher. So, like I said, once we start tapping back into that, it's like it, the hundred monkey thing. When enough of us start getting into those frequencies, it's going to affect the whole entire collective, because we all have the same coding, and our bodies want to train to higher frequencies. It's natural. It loves to do it, and it naturally wants to. So when we start to emanate these frequencies, our brothers and sisters will just be collectively getting them, like just waking up.
Now, you said something earlier that got me thinking, because it ties in. So there's a certain perceived understanding that we have given consent, or that we have adjoined ourselves to contracts. And because everything in this realm is legalistic. So I pulled up an interesting study on what those contracts may look like for people, might help them. Um, so there's about, I think I name here 6 different soul contracts. Um, this one is rocking the boat. Um, it says, are you someone who's afraid to be seen as marching to your own drummer? Someone who doesn't break the rules or rock the boat? Who doesn't even want others to know you're reading this? This is a very common agreement that we humans tend to commit ourselves to as a way of protection. By standing in the background and blending in, you run less risk of being ostracized, penalized, or pointed out. While this might have seemed like a good idea during some lifetime when you were still reeling from being made fun of for something you did, the current reality means that it will become difficult to build a business, become an expert, write a book, or more, because you must stand out in order to do these things. I don't know. Now, here's one that's very common, Trina. It's the soul contract of anxiety. If you're someone who always, what's that, hon?
I couldn't believe when you said that you the realization that that's a contract. That is so powerful for healers, people who suffer with anxiety. You need to go at this as this is a legal binding contract, and this is going to free
Boom.
a lot of souls, guys. This is huge information right here. So get it.
Mic drop.
Yeah, it's huge. When it's a contract. Oh wow, bingo! Now I know how to get you loose.
Exactly. Exactly. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, so if you're anxious, nervous, or worried, now my lovely wife, she has her PhD in worry. Your soul, she does. Your soul might be holding you to this type of contract. Do you wait for the other shoe to drop? When money is coming in, do you count the days until you know it will go out again? One when one of your worries alleviates, do you quickly replace it with another thing to worry about? You may be thinking this is normal human nature, but it isn't. In many cases, it's a contract that you took out sometime in a past life that your soul still believes is valid. Why would you ever make such a commitment? Perhaps you felt that if you were wrapped yourself in a blanket of anxiety, it would heighten your awareness so that nothing could ever get by you and surprise, get this, Trina, or hurt you
Yep.
ever again.
Yep.
Filtering life through a blanket of anxiety is not fun for you, obviously, or for the other people around you. When you release this commitment, you'll find that you are more able to be in touch with your inner soul. Intuition. Anxiety blocks us from our intuition.
That's why they're so scared.
Bingo.
That's the key right there, because they know they can't trust themselves. Oh my gosh, that's huge.
And that's why they got the 5G, all this other shit that's out there,
Yep.
is that it is acting as what they would say in the, like if, yeah, like a beta blocker in
Yeah,
your,
an intuition blocker.
exactly. Bingo.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you are more easily and naturally kept up to date by your own gut on what is coming down the pike for you. A much more enjoyable way to stay aware for sure.
Wow. Okay, guys, that means connect your solar plexus daily. If you feel off, you got to reconnect your gut, solar plexus.
Bingo.
Sun, think of the sun lighting up inside your own belly.
This is the soul contract of loneliness. Have you ever been looking for your soulmate throughout your life only to have one relationship after another result in failure, dis-ease, sadness, and heartbreak? Have you tried blind dates, online dating, or settling for someone who isn't it? While there are many different contracts that could be standing in the way of finding love, the soul contract of loneliness can be one of the most difficult to handle. When your soul is adhering to this type of agreement, even when you've found someone wonderful, you still feel alone, separated, and unsupported. Release this contract, and you'll finally be able to feel the support and the love that is out there. Whereas with this contract, it's like it doesn't exist, even though it already does.
That's awesome. That's
The
awesome.
contract of loyalty. Now, this is one that screws people every time. Do you stand by your friend, lover, parent, boss, etc., no matter what they do or how they treat you? Have you ever heard yourself saying, yes, she's pretty mean, but family is family? Or, I have no choice. He's my boss. The loyalty soul contract will often help a person create a situation in which they are walked all over by those they love and where a person feels helpless or trapped when considering changing or leaving the relationship because they don't want to abandon the other person. When a soul contract of this nature is finally released, you'll be able to make changes in your relationships, personal or professional, even if those changes are something you've struggled with for years, such as leaving your husband or quitting your job. The hold that those people have over you will be gone. And finally, Trina, the soul contract of martyrdom. Do you feel that it's a lot easier to say yes than when it is to say no? Do you put your own needs or desires aside to help other people or animals, even when it's really inconvenience for you? Do you feel like you're a good person or a better person if you sacrifice your own needs in some way to make someone else happy? If you answered yes to any of these, you're probably feeling pretty frustrated with your life now and feeling that other people don't appreciate you and feeling tired and drained.
Mhm.
You probably also feel that being called selfish is the worst type of insult, and you most likely make decisions constructed to ensure that no one can ever apply that label to you. This is how the martyrdom soul contract often manifests, and it's not pretty. Once you've broken this soul level agreement, It won't mean you'll never help another person. Rather, it will allow you to make better decisions about who to help and when, and also about how to continue to take care of yourself while giving to others. It's a much more balanced way of life for sure.
That is so profound.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's
It truly
amazing to
is.
look at them as contracts. That's going to help a lot of people look at this from a different point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked at each one of those and I'm like, wow, that's affected my life. That's affected my life. That's affected my life. That's affected my life. So I think probably all of us have some level of all of these.
And it's interesting, like you say that, because as time goes, we discover these contracts that it appears that we make with ourselves.
And our families.
Yes.
These are created before you even come here, is what I saw. And why would I see that if it wasn't real? And why did I see myself planning my lifetime? I have a feeling there's something to that. So a lot of this stuff we brought upon ourselves, but like I said, we're doing it from a place in a higher dimension where we're still in a kind of amnesia, where we don't remember that this is not what we are.
Yes.
So it's time to start remembering bigger and remembering deeper in the beginnings and the origins. And when you start to do that, you start to climb the dimensions. And we haven't been having any kind of connection to our higher dimensional selves in a very long time. So this is a huge
Do you
time.
think it's possible, because we're talking about evil? This is where I see these contracts come in, because
It's control. See,
we
that's why
become conflicted.
I think it's about
Yeah.
control. I think
Yeah.
evil comes from control, because when you need to control something, you manipulate it, which is making things comply to things that are against their will. So you're bending the laws of the universe, free will, for service to self behavior. And that throws things out of balance. And that's like government, mind control. These are control tactics. Control seems to be how, if we can find less of a desire for people to have control, which means, that goes to wealth, that goes to all the problems that we have. They all go back to needing to control assets, money, people, whatever they want to control. Pick a flavor, But yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that seems like it is. And it's like all the patents and all this and all the legal stuff and all this copyright stuff. It's all about people trying to control what in all actuality is never theirs. Everything they're getting from spirit. They're not getting from their own divine intelligence. No, it's all nothing new under the sun. This is a program. This place.
And it shows. So going back to the fact that if we were in fact this divine race, I'll just use that term.
I like that.
I do too, because it
like
resonates.
that. Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm like, ooh, I like that.
It may be why many of us who've, I was going through my files and reading things that had happened back in 2018, different visions that I've talked about here, and to see now how they're coming back.
Yeah.
The point is that I think it's what we all long for, is that because it seems like that this is not a very nice place.
No, and it's so funny. I heard a couple days ago. It's so interesting that this all comes up at the same time. I got the same message. They told me, they said the difference between remembering and repentance. Figure it out. And I was like, well, to repent means to do again. To
Yeah, I
remember.
never got that. I mean, if you're repenting, and I had
Yeah,
thought
it's
that
a
you're
trap.
saying this, because I had this conversation with the person who was dealing with death of a
Yep.
family,
Yep.
repenting, and
Yep.
you bring it out perfect, because you look at pent. Pent is
Yes.
to be what's the pentance?
Yes, and pent is also penta, which is 5,
Yes.
which is the star, which is the
Yeah.
pentagram, and it's a sigil. It's a binding sigil.
So we repent into this over and over and over again.
Incarnation. I think that is absolutely one of the ways people recontract to reincarnate and they don't know it. It's because they don't understand the meaning of the word. So they're like, do you repent? Everybody's like, yeah, I'm sorry if I did anything wrong. Cool. Yeah, wash it, wipe it away, whatever. But no, that's not what it means. Repent means repent means you're doing again. You're going back into the penta. You're going back into the star. You're going back into the system. So yeah, we need to understand. We need to remember,
So this is
remagnetize.
that point. So at the moment consciousness transcends, you know, we go from this physical form into the ethereal form. The question I keep on asking now, because there would have been a time where I would have folded like a cheap deck of cards or a cheap chair, you know, boom, you know, you've got to repent, you know, you understand you're not doing this right. You failed at that and you missed that. And so you're going into this whole death at the end of life. You're like this, you're already covering your head going, oh shit, you know,
I'm going to get it now.
I'm really going to get it. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh crap. But now I'm like, you know, I'm standing before you, Ubis and saying, all right, what are you going to judge me on? You didn't live my life. So you can't judge me on anything. And again, I'll have to say this. So to what am I being judged on? Being imperfect or being perfect? Because if I'm imperfect and you're judging me, for me to try to attain to be perfect would be sin.
You know, I'm getting to this point, and there's no arrogance in this whatsoever. It's just when you start to really connect with your origins and you start to go back to your origins, you are before the underworlds of Egypt and Anubis. It's just a part of the matrix, and it's like
it is part of the matrix
passing through. How? But you know, but there's no, they can't judge unless you allow it, and there's no, that's not, there's like you can't judge an angel, dude. Really?
It's like being in Las Vegas. You go from, you know, the Luxor, which I'm in Egypt, and then I can go over and being into King Arthur's time. And then I can go to New York, New York. And this is how I'm seeing this, is that we're on this freaking conveyor belt.
It is because they say, come and I'm going to judge you. And you say, okay. And you get on the belt.
I'm like, you know, so
yeah, but like I said, Wayne, you saw that vision where you saw thousands going into the light. You saw very few going on a different path. This is what kind of happens, I think, is, you know, the thousands just, you know, because we believe what we've been taught. So most people just follow the program and go with the flow because they think that's the right thing to do. And boy, I don't blame them. I mean, if you can't see through it, that's exactly what you're going to think, for sure.
It's so interesting because you're triggering memories. There's a time where I held a license to where, you know, I could sell burial insurance, plots, caskets, the whole bit. And it's so interesting because there is a script that you use for different religions of people and how you approach them.
Absolutely.
They're pre-programmed to already respond to a set script.
Absolutely.
It's weird.
We all have been very programmed on our death rituals.
Yes, we have. And it hinders our life.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it does.
And there's so many different belief systems regarding the death process. I mean, they are super, super varied. So varied. Even within same religion, they have different belief systems or sects within them. It's
someone the counseling I was doing over the weekend, and I asked the person again, I said, so now here's the deal. Were you afraid to be born?
I was.
and well, the person said, I don't remember. And I said, there's a good reason why you don't remember, because it hurt like hell.
Yeah. You know, it's funny too. I was really thinking about that. Remember when I told you I remembered coming into the dimension and how it felt like getting metal suit on top of a metal suit, and it felt like metal suit, and I was just getting compressed and compressed and compressed, and it was
that's claustrophobic.
It was unbearable. And you know what's so funny? What happens when you're born? Your mother crushing, crushing. It's the same process. And it wasn't the labor I was feeling because it was before I got in the body. So I was watching myself through. It's the same process. So going up is going to be the same expression, but the opposite. So that's why it feels so freeing. And that's why you feel so much love. And that's why you feel so good when you get out of your body, because you're dropping these fields. But you got to remember, boy, as soon as you get out of your body, you're on one layer of that wrapping. You got to break through like 6 more layers, is what I saw. So, like I said, I'm shooting for 7th dimension or above, because I can still be physical in 7th dimension if I want to.
I can dig that. And
Yeah.
it brings out the whole point that, it's so true, because the birthright process is actually it's a blood veil.
It's intense.
And I did a whole video on it. I may revisit that
Yeah.
because when you go through, the birthright,
I remember
and and it's interesting because not all spirits have gone through the birthright process. But so if birth was excruciatingly painful, I think that, and I keep on thinking that, being forced into this realm, because what spirit would want to endure that? And then it freaks me out to think that you have reincarnation here. And I'm going, wait a minute. Why would I want to do that again? The death problem, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's orgasmic.
Think about it, man. If 1/3 of the angels got captured, that's a lot of people, Wayne.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. And they've been using us and reincarnating, using us as slaves and using our light and brain wiping us.
Wow.
Messing. Really, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
This has got the Borg written all over it.
Set the captives free. And I also see too that, it's like the pendulum will always swing from one way to another. And I saw that we would go through a long period of dark times, and then the pendulum would swing the other way. And then it's like, this is a new creation. And once it gets on more positive timelines, and the controlling factions and the dark factions that kind of firewalled us and broke us down, once we get our restoration through our own organic blueprints, all this restoration is it's gonna change everything. We're gonna have all these new kinds of expressions as the angels that fell. And that's why they were calling us the earth angels, because we would literally be able to transpose between physical dimensions and spiritual dimensions without literally reincarnating. So you could literally manifest a body on a reality if you needed to for a time, if you had a mission or a purpose. Like, this is what I saw. And I think this is originally how it was supposed to work.
Well, I totally can be in line with that. I mean, up at Grace Christian Center in 1979, I actually saw a physical angel that was able to do exactly what you said. They actually are in 2 dimensions at the same time.
I've seen that too.
Then I've had 3 night visions where I called them angels. Each time there were just 3 of them, and each time it was a very profound dream vision that I had. So I know that there are those of us who are in touch with these others. Now, that brings up a point which further this book that I'll get into more on the archons. Some of us have already made the transition. As you said, we are here. We're almost immune to the next life, the next realm. We're already there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are transcendental beings already in this realm.
I think not only that, Wayne, I think that many of us that came in here to help our brothers and sisters who got captured, and whether we are the captured ones or we are the ones who decided to voluntarily fall to go in and save our brothers and sisters, because that's what we knew had to be done. We knew it had to happen from the inside out.
Ain't that the truth? I think some of us are just adrenaline junkies, We're like, all right, we're going to go back and,
all about the challenge until you have to go through it. Yeah.
Whoa, right. No, but I can actually see that. I really
Yeah, I
can.
think so. I really
You
do.
know,
And setting the captives free. I really do think that this is the theme of the new age that's coming. It's about setting the captives free.
well, I
And
read recently that um, we have been in the dark ages for the last 2,000 years.
at least,
At
yes. I think
least, yeah,
so.
at least.
Yes.
They know they've documented it
Yeah.
1,700 plus years
Yeah.
of the dark ages.
Yeah. I would, yeah, definitely.
And when I see all this confusion that's going on, all the energies, it's like waking up and people are going, I think a lot of people want to go back to sleep.
They do, and they won't be able to, and it's going to be
That's
really
exactly it.
frustrating. Yeah, they're going to be frustrated because you can't unpop that popcorn, guys. I hate to say it, but it's a done deal.
And you're going to be like, insomnia.
And that forever changes you. And
Yeah.
like I said, I think it's because you wake up a gene code.
Hmm.
I really
I
do.
mean, I wake up regularly at 3:03 and 3:33. I mean, to
I
me,
too, and I do that sometimes the 444 too.
yeah, and I'm going, and I literally say in my spirit, what do y'all want?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and
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 you
and
know
then
what they told me when I yelled at that for a few times too? They said this is one of the like it's one of the stillest points of the day of the 24-hour cycle. So that hour is very powerful because most humans are sleeping. So most people are in the astrals and they're in the dream time worlds. So the energy is so clean on the planet, you have a lot of power. So your power and your focus is really strong at those hours because everybody else is not participating in this material world when you are conscious, awake, aware, and in the material world. It gives you a lot of power in those windows of time.
and it's interesting because the portal shifts, as the planet
Uh,
and Earth is speeding up. It's
yeah,
getting to, I think we're all going to be affecting more of this. I mean, it's almost now just becoming daily. But
yeah.
I agree with you. It is that time when most people are asleep. And
Mhm.
for me, it's like, okay, it's like, what do you want now?
Right.
And I'll think of you, I'll have other people,
Yes, I do.
and that's where I focus in. Many times I can only take the energy that I see, particularly in the chat, but when I see a person on like a Andromeda 7 or a Robert's channel over on Milky Way Soul Tribe, um, yeah, you begin to put them in mind, and you know, it's very interesting.
It is. And literally, I mean, yeah, it's so fun when you use your imagination. You can go do stuff together.
You can do stuff together. It's
Yeah, like yesterday I was with Mandy and we were doing like high five palms up in the air and then we were bringing energy down into the earth and spreading out rainbows and stuff. I was like, oh, this is fun playing with light and love and fun stuff, you know?
uh-huh.
Use your imagination. Just let your imagination go wild. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Al says I wake up at 2:22 a.m.
Oh,
That's
that's
interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
me.
Well, it's interesting because I think we each have our frequency code,
I was gonna say, I
that
think that's his Zeus connection from the
and I'm
light
going,
planet.
like, okay,
That's what that is.
you know, toe, there,
Yeah.
you
Do
know,
yes.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
And because I think there is something palatable happening.
There is. And I think all
Yeah.
of us are starting to remember more of our connections
Yeah.
to these demigods and fallen angels and all this crazy stuff. And I really think that that's part of remembering your DNA codes. And when you start to remember these things, you start to carry those memories and those frequencies are activated within your body. And I really do think this is how it's happening.
And I like to give everyone a heads up on a sign. If you're finding yourself where you want silence,
Mhm.
you're going through a process because that's what's happening to myself. It's happened to Lynn. We, it's like we don't want the white noise anymore. It has to be quiet.
Yep.
And in that silence, it's It's
You really
refreshing.
hear
Yeah.
yourself a lot more.
Yeah.
And everything that's in the field, you can start to sense and hear it. See, sometimes for me, Wayne, I have to turn on the background noise because I will never get a break.
I can see that.
I do. I
Um,
have to have, my mom's always freaked out. She goes, how can you study for a test, be doing a homework assignment, and listening to the radio all at the same time? I'm like, because that's how it works. That's how I actually get quiet
yeah,
sometimes.
music, I can get that. Music is cool. It it's like the television,
Uh-huh.
with the 24-hour cycle
Wayne, I
of
haven't watched it in like, I think since 2006.
we haven't missed anything.
I haven't.
It's the same story.
I just haven't really.
It's reincarnating,
Yes, it's
It's
why I
the
don't
same
bother. I,
story.
I don't. And like I said, thank God, because I was searching the internet and that's how I found you. And I found
Red
that.
Herring Media says I live in an apartment complex of horrors. It's like waking up in a psychic Iron Maiden. Oh,
Oh,
God.
I bet. Oh, you poor
Oh
thing.
dear,
That's
I
what I
tell
gotta say,
you.
man. You gotta make you a golden bubble
Mm,
every night. Golden
woo,
bubble.
got to get you out of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Holy crap.
yeah.
Yeah, that could really yeah,
I
just
hate
to
to say it
throw.
too. Call in the angels that preside over them. Apparently, all the dark entities have an angel that presides over them. And it
It's
can mess
weird.
them up.
So who are, that comes up into what is evil then? Is
Mhm.
evil
I think it's a shadow expression of a creation point, but I think there's many kinds. I really do. But yeah, I think it's a shadow
so
expression.
is it the fact that it is it like an oil that like a goo
I think it's a
that
thought, Wayne. It's a thought. It's like God can inspire with thought, evil can inspire with thought. I think it's a thought. It comes down to that brain mind consciousness thing.
a lot of people are saying that, yeah, you can't turn it off. Jenny says, Simon says, my brain is always going, going, going. Can't sleep
I'm
without
telling you, it's tough.
dreaming intense
Yeah,
dreams.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I can tell you CDC oil will help you with some of that.
Oh, it does so much. So
Um, and speaking of that, I'm going to have April and Jay from Spiritual Raw on next Wednesday.
excellent.
Um, but Jenny, it's just something to look into. I'm I big believer in CDCs. There's a
Absolutely.
lot of medicinal qualities that have unfortunately been hijacked through.
We have a whole immune system completely connected to that plant, and
Yes, we do. It's
that is
quite
profound.
interesting. It really is.
It's
Um,
profound, and it's the only plant that's got 5 fingers, like your hand.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And in gematria, in the Bible codes, you should see what it says about that plant. Sacred, way to see God, God's gift to humans, God's gift to you. Smoke cannabis. Literally, that's just all the things it says in gematria. It's insane. I'm like, wow,
I've,
wow.
I've had a lifetime with that plant, and
Uh-huh.
I have no qualms. In fact, I would tell people that stay away from alcohol
Yeah,
because
never do alcohol. I
and
could
that's
never do
that's why it's called
pharmaceuticals.
spirits, folks. That's
Yeah,
why
I
it's
couldn't
called.
do the birth control pills. Wayne, I couldn't take nothing. Everything went
Yeah,
wrong. That was the only thing that would work for me
yeah,
was
yeah,
natural plant medicine. And it still seems to be that way. But
yeah.
I'm 50 and I'm still not on one single medication. So,
You see, and that is the point.
mhm.
So anyway, it does help. That's all
It
I got to
does.
say.
I swear by it.
Ginger Grin says Mary Magdalene's holy herb.
I think so.
Yes,
I really
I
believe
think you
that.
be
I
right.
really like that. Oh, bring it on, Mary. Love
I
you.
have this book called The Magic Mushroom and the Cross, and
I think there's something to that too,
I'm
Wayne.
going
I
to tell you
really
what psilocybin mushrooms were very much they smoked them, and yeah.
Wow, really?
Mhm.
Oh, wow. I never knew that.
So
Learn something
apparently,
new every day, Wayne.
apparently the mushroom has been around for a very long time.
Mm,
And yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I know lots of people who eat them. I just never knew and put them in teas and foods and all that stuff, but
mhm,
I didn't know anybody just smoked it. That's interesting.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
because that it goes to a different part of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I wonder
Mm-hmm.
what. Wow.
It's like tobacco, you
Oh,
know,
wow.
pure tobacco was also a sacred plant.
Yes.
They modify what tobacco is today. It's not really tobacco, but back in the day when tobacco was tobacco, it was a sacred plant as well.
Absolutely. And that's why the Native Americans usually would offer it back to the land as their offering, because tobacco has so many minerals in it.
Mm-hmm.
Draws so many of the minerals out of the earth. So it's
Yep.
profound in its mineral qualities, but it's not made that way anymore, unfortunately. But yeah,
You're right. Thanks, Terrence McKenna. Absolutely.
I know, right? He was
Yeah.
awesome.
Let me tell you something about tobacco. If you ever have the chance, back in the day, they used to actually, you could actually buy pretty much unprocessed, the way that
Leaves.
yeah, leaf.
Yeah.
And my grandfather, I got stung by a bee, and I'll never forget this. He got some, and when you mix it with the saliva,
Yeah.
put it on the bee sting, it will draw that poison out.
I swear it will, because it is like that. And it's so funny. Copper pennies will do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Copper penny, it's that same effect. And I
Yeah.
think it literally works a little bit better if you put a little bit of saliva on it. I mean, I normally don't, but I'm telling you, there's something about that saliva. Lots of healing for whatever reason in the olden days, a lot of it had to do with saliva.
I learned in the Boy Scouts, and then when I was in ROTC, they would put me as the point on the marches. And I learned that trick of keeping, because back then it was a real copper penny, but put a copper penny underneath my tongue, and I didn't suffer from, dehydration or, having dry mouth.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You suck on
That's
that, you put that copper
crazy.
underneath there, and it keeps the saliva glands going.
Moving. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. And
yeah,
copper's so good for you too. It
yeah.
supports cardiovascular, all of your veins. It's one of the foundational building blocks for collagen development and delivery in the body.
See, I didn't know that.
It's profound. Copper
I
is,
learned something new today too.
yeah. And think about it too. The blue bloods, the giants, they all have strong affinity with copper because of its
Yep.
because of its medicinal properties, especially for that species. It was really good for them. But
I
it's
have
good.
a problem with my blood because my blood has high concentrations of copper in it.
Oh my God, you need to come and get foot baths, Wayne. Go get the ionic foot baths. That's what they do. They're magnetic. They're magnetic. They pull metals out of the
I
body.
one for my wife. She's just never used it. So I guess we're
Well,
going to do some foot washing this
Wayne, I'm
weekend.
telling you, that's
Yeah.
what'll fix you, because that's one of the best ways to chelate for metals is doing the foot baths or the
Yep.
IV chelation treatments. They're
Yep.
the best for that. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
got a foot bath, hook that up. Wait
Yeah,
till
we
you
do. We
see.
actually,
I'm
the
telling
whole
you.
stuff,
You got
you
to get
know,
some Himalaya sea salt, really,
that's what
really
we have.
fine.
I
You
ordered
got the powder. It's, if not, grind it up real, real fine, because it needs to dissolve real good in the water.
got 6 months supply of that.
That's wonderful, Wayne. I'm telling you, I've been doing those
We're
on
going to do
people,
that. Okay.
and it's pulling all the stuff out of their bodies, and they're feeling so much better. And that is one of the only ways to get those out of the body. Truly, is
Yeah.
through
I mean,
chelation
I've,
therapies and foot baths. That's pretty
I'm
much
going to
it.
do that.
It'll
Absolutely.
fix you right up. I'm telling you.
I'm ready. I'm
And
ready.
it gives you new feet too. I don't know how to explain it. When you do that thing, and I don't know how your unit works. I only know my unit. But when we get out of the foot bath, when people then they put their feet on the ground, it feels like you have brand new feet, like when you're a little baby. It
I'm going to
literally,
do this.
like, you can feel more with your feet. It's
Hmm.
weird. It's like you get new feet. I always tell everybody, "Are you ready for your happy feet?" It's like new.
I used to, when I was traveling all over the freaking country as a frequent flyer,
Mhm.
um, I developed plantar fasciitis,
Oh yeah.
and walking through airports,
Oh yeah. I
was,
know how to get rid of that too.
I
Yeah.
don't have it anymore.
Thank God.
So yeah, I mean, it's like,
If you start to have any symptoms of that, freeze water bottles and start putting your weight and roll that water bottle underneath your foot and start breaking up that tendon, because that's what starts
mm.
it all. If you can nip it in the butt, you'll never get it again.
I was coming back from Orlando, actually seeing Paula White, and
I've had that.
I was going down the escalator at DIA, and that plantar fasciitis hit me, and when it did, it caused my knee to
Yeah.
become stiff, and I ended up like tripping down like 6 steps, and when I did, I twisted that meniscus tendon, and
Oh,
oh
oh,
man, dropped to the
oh,
floor. I
oh,
mean,
Wayne, ouch.
nothing like being in an airport, with 30,000 people coming down, and all of a sudden you pull a meniscus, and it's like,
Yep, and you're
oh yeah.
down. You're down. Oh, I get it. Yeah, I used to have it when I was a kid. When I was a little kid, I would get it because I was growing so fast. I would literally got it from the time I was a child.
Yeah. Deborah
Yeah,
Sohn says, I'm allergic to all metals except gold. Aren't we all, baby?
you know what though? Pull some of the metals out of your body, and then you may not be so sensitive to them anymore. Because I do. I think that's another symptom of metal overload, and a lot of us get it from our waters, from wells and stuff that we just don't even have any awareness of. So you could
Oh,
pick
dear.
these things up in a laundry list of places and really have no idea.
This
Yeah.
has been a fun,
Yeah.
the hour's gone by. I mean, this is
It
like, what
always does.
happened?
So
It's
fast.
like literally, I mean, I looked at this and it's 6 minutes after the hour, and I'm going,
Wow. It's
it's
whew,
boom, gone,
always
gone.
wonderful. Yes, we could talk for hours, especially too about all this stuff. It's
Oh,
so
and it's all so important. It really is.
it
Yeah,
is. It is. And
yeah.
I'm so glad you're going to do a foot bath. I think you
I'm
are
I'm, I'm gonna do,
wonderful.
yeah, I'm gonna tell Lynn this weekend this is what we're going to do. And
Yeah,
yeah, I
absolutely. And
mean,
she will love it too. It cleans your body. It's like getting a lube oil filter. It's wonderful. Yeah. And if you got high metals in the body, I would do a few. Not
cool
every not,
deal.
not in one day, of course.
Yeah, no, but
Spread them out. Yeah, like not in one day, of course. But yeah, it's too much too fast. Yeah.
we all love getting lube jobs, right?
And I do. I think this is so important. These little ways to feel better,
Yeah.
to learn how to pull things out of the body that we're accumulating just because of the world we live in. These things are really going to make a big difference in your lives, guys. So really look into these self-care, small doses of self-care. They're going to go their miles for weight in gold for you. They really will.
Distilled water is good. Remember, it's distillant process, just like they do moonshine,
Yeah.
alcohol. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good for you. I would look at getting some ionized water. It's good.
Yes, or just like I said, some colloidal minerals and put a couple
Hmm.
drops of colloidal minerals into the distilled water so you make sure you're not stripping your body of your mineral content because that's
Bingo.
dangerous, very
Yeah,
dangerous. Got to have your
bingo.
minerals too, just a little bit, not a lot, but
Paquito.
colloidal, yeah, you buy the colloidal
Yeah,
silver. I mean,
yeah.
not the colloidal minerals, and it's got all the essential minerals and it's a liquid. And you just put a little tiny bit in your jug of water and you have everything plus clean, beautiful, restructured water. Beautiful.
And we are crystalline beings, and water is mostly what we're made of. And
Guys, charge your water. They say make a hole like this with your hand and then use the palm, the other side, and you make a target. And you put that around your water and your food. This creates a Torah field instantly because of the circle, the vortex. So this is you aim your target and you can do healing and hands-on healing with this. This literally is like it makes like a laser beam.
cool
So
deal.
this is a really good method to charge things with intention. Create the
I like
vortex,
that.
attach your Torah field, get it going. Yep.
Wom, wom,
Yeah,
wom.
absolutely. Yeah, it brings the
It's
energy
real.
in. Yeah, through the circle, it draws it like that, makes it start to spiral. So yeah,
Okay.
little quantum
Well,
healing.
Trina, this has been fun, hon.
Mm,
Um, I so enjoy
me
Tuesdays. I
too.
do.
Me
Yeah.
too. You are
Yeah.
just a treasured friend, Wayne. I mean,
Well,
seriously.
you are as well.
Yeah, it's been one
Mm.
heck of a journey with you. We've been doing this for a while now, and it
Oh,
just
is it? It's been over
better.
a year, hasn't it?
Been well over a year.
Yeah.
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 I think actually this summer we're coming up on our second year because we started right after summer, like
The audience is growing every
yeah,
week. It
I think
gets
it was,
more and
yeah.
more. Thank you all. We do appreciate it. Much
Oh,
love to you on that.
you guys,
Um,
what makes this so magical? Because we're all feeding off each other in this
mhm.
beautiful, conscious, collective way, and we're all helping each other wake up and grow and think about things in different ways. And
And I'm
compassion.
learning about so many of these people here with Teresa and Lori and all the girls over there on Andromeda 7. You
Yeah,
know,
be
saw you
awesome.
had a couple of the dudes on there, but
Wasn't that great guy night? I was like,
yeah.
look at all the boys. This is
Mm.
fabulous. It was wonderful. Yes, super
Yeah,
wonderful.
it was cool. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
this is such a wonderful group of people, guys, and you guys are so powerful. And it's such an honor to be a part of it.
It is. This is just
I
it's a far
learn
out
every
place.
day.
That's all I got to say.
I learn every day.
Yeah.
And that's
Magic
what I love.
bus.
I do love that.
Well, see, you're on Friday with a drama 7, correct?
Yes, and potentially maybe even Wednesday. So Wednesday night too. We've got Wednesday night,
Cool.
Friday night, and then Milky Way Soul Tribe on Saturday night. Wayne's always on Tuesday. And then if I throw stuff in between, but I haven't had time with everything else going
I
on.
was going to say,
Yeah, I've
there
been
is,
triple timing it as is.
yeah. Now, can you imagine? They say at one time the Earth, a full rotation was just 8 hours.
Whoa.
Could you now imagine trying to do everything in 8 hours? No,
No.
can't get it done in 24 or 23 point whatever it is.
Yes.
So,
Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine that.
and speaking, I see Jenny here. Jenny, I'm going to have her on Friday. We're going to talk about her grandfather. What a remarkable, remarkable man. Um, yeah, I really want to honor his memory, what he did and what he went through. Everybody needs to hear because it will inspire you and it will raise your spirit and your vibration up. He was a remarkable, remarkable man. So,
That is wonderful. I
yeah,
love these meaningful stories because it's just
stories are what define us.
it is and it shows the strength that we come from.
Yeah,
And that's part of it is remembering where we come
we
from.
are a species of orators, you know,
Yes.
and the gift of the voice is something that many people take for granted, but it is a gift.
I keep seeing too the reawakening of the sacred sounds. We're going to start with
Mm,
sacred sounds, and we're going
yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
sound them, and it's going to wake everything back up with these sounds because this is 90% of it. Wayne, you're right. The power of this right
Mm.
here is unfathomable.
I always hear the Moody Blues in the back of my head. Yeah,
Yes.
that's off our children's album. And Thursday, yes, Thursday, yes, with Jenny. Yeah. Okay. All right, Trini, stay with me. We love you all. Thank
Love you
you.
guys.
We will see you as we continue to see each other. Be good to everyone. Love